Do we realize that more than 48% of jobs as of today won't exist by 2035? Do we foresee that more than one-third of the skills that the future world will demand from our children are not even considered important today? Do we understand that more than 90% of common mental health and well-being issues go untreated and unaddressed? What is the aspect that a student needs the most in life? It is guidance, scientific guidance. More often than not, we rely on unauthenticated, non-verified, non-personalized sources for guidance. This is as damaging as self-treating with the help of the internet than going to see an expert doctor. CBSE, India's premier education board, and Guinness World Record-winning Lifeology are partnering to organize one of the largest guidance festivals in the world from September 19th to the 24th. The certification program will provide scientific guidance for life and career, along with assessments, games, quizzes, and scholarship opportunities. Top brains from around the world are coming together to guide and mentor our students. National Guidance Festival 2022. Register now.
class 8 to 12? Are you confused about your career? Do you want to know how to develop 21st century skills? CBSE, India's premier education board in association with Guinness World Record winning Lifeology Foundation, is organizing the world's largest guidance festival for teenagers. Mark your calendar from September 19 to 24. Listen to the brightest brains across the world, interact with expert mentors, and get connected with global wizards. You will end up with perfect clarity regarding career, skill development, and emotional well-being. Also, grab a valuable certificate marking your participation. Don't miss this opportunity. Register now.
The most awaited National Guidance Festival by CBSE and Guinness World Record winning Lifeology begins. Thought leaders from the United Nations, NASA, UNICEF, Google, Intel, Times Network, and Schindler. Top brains like Chetan Bhagat and Kiran Bedi. Alumni of Ivy League universities like Harvard, Stanford, London School of Economics come together to mentor and guide Indian students. This mega festival is going to be the largest guidance event in the world, with 27,000 schools and an estimated participation from 1 million students and parents. NGF National Guidance Festival will transform the career and life trajectory of our young students by introducing them to scientific guidance, self-assessments, and career mentoring through which they obtain crystal clear clarity regarding their future. This 20-hour certification program of international standards will inform and inspire our next generation towards the most significant dimensions: career, and life. CBSE Lifeology National Guidance Festival from September 19th to the 24th. Be future ready.
Yes, absolutely. Dear ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Deepa Rahulishwar and welcome to day 3 of the CBSE National Guidance Festival supported by Lifeology Foundation. So as we just saw, are you ready to be future ready? Yes, I can hear it, but louder. Yeah, I mean, if you're thinking like, what are you saying? Can you hear us? I actually can, I really can, because we're so used to being virtually doing programs that you develop the habit and tendency of actually listening to people who are not with you. So we are so tuned to it thanks to the pandemic. But I can actually see your excitement and vibe because there's so many chats coming on the chat box. Thank you so much. Yes, hi, good evening. Good evening to everyone. Yes, I can see it like scrolling like in super fast mode. So that really shows your excitement, guys. So today is the third day. Okay, so what did we start with? On day 1, we started with the most relevant topic. What was it? Yes, how to choose a suitable career. Now, that's the topic that we've all been discussing. What should I be? Should I be a doctor? Should I be an engineer? Should I just be a chef? What should I go for? And how do you choose the right career? That was the very first topic addressed by our very own Praveen Parmeshwar. And then, of course, the man we've all been waiting for, Chetan Bhagat, was here yesterday. And he discussed not 5 points, but 6 points on achieving success in the 21st century. And that was well embraced, followed by the one and only from the United Nations. We did have Sri Murli Tumarikudi. Yes, and he discussed global career. How do you prepare yourself for a global career? So we've actually come to a point where we've discussed careers. Of course, we still have a lot of discussion on career coming up, but we have something else today. But before we get there, a quick fun corner. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen and I'm going to show you, of course, my favorite thing, which is anagrams. Okay, I love anagrams. So what I'm going to do now is I've got 3 words here. Okay, so I want all of you to be ready. Stop saying hi to each other for a while, okay, just for a while, and look at the questions, okay? The words, here they are. Quickly unshuffle them. Word number 1, K-I-L-S-L-S. What is this? K-I-L-S-L-S. Yes, I can see our guests already smiling. Radhika ma'am is already smiling. I think she's already got this. Yes. And Bani ma'am has also got it, I guess. I can see it from your smiles. Yes, Praveen has already got it. Yes, I know that. And what about you? Yes, the answer is skills. Just what we're going to talk about today and what everyone's talking about today. Okay, the second one, this is a little complicated when you look at it, but it's the most important thing for anyone to survive these days. What could it be? Yes, you're right. Hey guys, you're really quick. The answer is communication. Can you survive without communication? I can survive without oxygen, but not without communication, because that's how we are today, right? All right, let's move on to the last one and the most important one. Here it goes. What is this? Come on. Bani ma'am should really know this. Yes, you should know this. You better know this. And yes, everyone knows this. This is none other than Google. That's right. It's Google. All right. So why did I bring skills and communication and Google today? Well, of course, what else do I talk about today? Because we've got giants here today. We've got big names going to talk about skills. There was this quote by Bill Gates who said that when a country has the right skills and confidence, that's when outsiders are eager to be part of it. I would really say that if you have the right skills, you can be confident. I would also go one step ahead and say that even if you don't have the skills, confidence can really pull you through. Because if you're confident enough, you can definitely get there. But with skills, you are 100% guaranteed to get the confidence. And that's what we're going to talk about today, skills, right? So are you all ready to know what are not just any skills, well-researched, established 21st century skills required for not just any careers, but 21st century careers. Again, one step ahead in making you future ready. And to take this discussion forward, but before that, I'd like to thank all my dear students who are part of this day 3 today. I'm sure you all know that there are certificates awaiting all of you who have been part of the National Guidance Festival. So all attendees will get a certificate for having participated in the National Guidance Festival. So thank you all once again with lots of love for participating, and do continue to participate in your best interest. All right. So let's move on and to have an interesting panel discussion. Like I said earlier, we do have some big names, but I think, I won't be able to carry those names. It is too heavy for me. So I'm going to invite someone who can actually carry it on his shoulders. And that's none other than the CEO and founder of Lifeology, Praveen Parmeshwar. Praveen, over to you.
Thank you, Deva. Thank you very much. Good evening to all. Good evening to every student, parent, teacher, principal watching us here, and good evening, every panelist. So Deva has set the stage proper and well that, we have discussed about careers, we have discussed about global careers and sexes. And one common point which was there on all the three discussions is the careers are changing, the world is changing, the technology is creeping in or maybe jumping in, and the future careers will be more hybrid careers. And all the people were making it very, very clear, all the speakers. And I believe all of you are very convinced that so the future is going to be of human skills, because we cannot compete with a machine with mechanical skills. We can compete with a machine only with human skills. So what are these human skills? When we call 21st century skills, let's first set the stage by saying what these 21st century skills are. These 21st century skills is a technical word which is mostly used to define human skills, right? It may be like Deepa was talking about communication, collaboration, curiosity, critical thinking, and the creativity, innovation. So whatever human skills are, we put all together, even though the definitions may be different from organization to organization, portal to portal, but putting it together for me, I think for you also, the 21st century skills are human skills. And today we will be discussing on how these skills are important, why the skills are important, and how exactly we can acquire these skills. We have a limited 1 hour time, and we're just getting into the discussion. We have three panelists today to discuss with us, three very eminent panelists coming from diverse background. And let me tell you, the word diverse background I use not for the fancy sake, but I mean it, because we have a person who worked with a very prominent company in the world, an iconic company in the world, in the corporate sector. We have a person I will introduce for sure. We have another person who built a lot of companies and who helped a lot of companies to grow, more than 1,000 companies. And we also have a person who is trying to educate the youth in India in 21st century skills through a global project. So, from three diverse backgrounds. And how exactly this discussion is going for, we will go for a very quick introductory remark by each person. Very, very quick introductory remark. You can keep it as short as you want. And that will be just an introductory remark. And after that, we go for questions. We take questions from my mind. And also we take questions from students. And some of the people who are putting very interesting questions, we will be taking them on panel, and they will ask the questions through the panel as well. That's how the things will go on. And for all the people, for the panelists, as well as for the people who are listening to us, what I believe is at the end of the session, we need to be having clarity on why 21st century skills and how to develop those and how exactly we can make it as a culture and a part of lifestyle. Let's start. And we will start from Bani. Let me give a very quick introduction about Bani ma'am. So yes. So Bani Dhawan has done her schooling from Army Public School and Delhi University. And after that, got her higher education from the very famous Duke University and Massachusetts Institute of Technology, mostly on leadership and strategic execution. And she was serving with Infosys as a head of corporate communication for 4 years. And for more than last around 10 years, she has been with Google and currently the head of education, India and South Asia, Google Cloud India Private Limited. So Bani comes from the background of corporate, working in the corporate for more than 15 years. And now we are going to listen to Bani, your introductory remarks. Over to you.
Thank you, Praveen. Thanks, Deepa, for the very enthusiastic, start of the session. And to all of you, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be meeting you virtually and someday probably face to face as well. And all the best. So talking about 21st century, I think, I would say those will become foundational skills for anybody, whether it's on the personal side or on the professional side. And what I mean by foundational is, just like nobody asked us that, do you know how to operate a mobile phone and be connected, or how to start a video conference, or how to start a video conversation with somebody out on the other side? it would become foundational for us in the corporate world or any profession, whether we run our own companies or work for a company or support the growth of a company, to have some foundational skills. And to what Praveen mentioned, some of these, we call as a 3Cs. Some of it is, communication, collaboration, creativity, and some of it is acronyms around that. Like, what do I mean? That, that you should be thinking innovatively, that you should be a problem solver rather, and a solution, seeker, rather than actually just wanting to, absorb whatever is given to you or just learn what is delivered to textbooks. There could be another way of, let's get inquisitiveness in ourselves, so that when we are inquisitive, when we are hungry for more information, we are actually working above and beyond to actually seek something and be successful at that thing. So there are various definitions of, 21st century skill. But what I feel, strongly coming out of COVID, what will be really important for us is that we will work in a very, or we will not only work, but we'll also live in our personal life in a very connected environment. Internet has always become, foundational to all of our lives as well, whether we have an, uninterrupted experience or a patchy experience. What we've realized during COVID is that brought families together at a very personal level, and at a learning level or a professional level, that it brought structure. It brought sanity to all of us when we were, cut off from the world, and we were able to be productive. Now, it's as foundational as that. As we look ahead, what we will learn in our school lives in terms of technology skills, what we will learn in our school life in terms of collaborating or working in teams, challenging each other to think beyond and find solutions together, for teams to work together and have different perspectives. I mean, India is a diverse country as it is. We are fortunate to have so many views, so many experiences that define us. But imagine if you multiply that with all the global experience that we can have and collaboration across the globe, how blessed we would be as individuals. And going back to that human element, that when we are inquisitive, we will innovate. We will innovate to form our own companies. We will innovate to, contribute to job creations. We will also contribute to the growth of the economy and our communities and our society. That's very, very fulfilling. So finally, coming down to why I think that, we should introduce some of these foundational 21st century skills in our schools, and how to Praveen's point, and how to. I believe that, technology provides that platform, but it is the teacher, the student, the parent, and the management that will come together to create examples of how these skills can be developed. And if I can go fundamentally into, I believe teamwork does not only require us to be behind screens or using technology. Teamwork will come when we go out and play a sport, when we actually extend ourselves to actually opening, new thoughts and perspective. But what technology enables us to do is that sport can be played sitting out anywhere in the world, in your own comfort of your home, or actually being in that country, or being in that city, or being in that particular environment. And there are so many opportunities that helps us, that makes us build that spirit, even using sports. So I'm fascinated by the possibility that technology will be able to provide when developing these skills. And finally, I would say is that to parents out there who have joined, to students who are, thinking about what do I do at a very personal level and how do I start? My recommendation would be that pick a particular topic, try and research around it, because there is so much available, freely, and a lot of content through either YouTube videos or through search or through in your, textbooks. Open your mind to the possibilities. Try and connect with individuals and experts in those fields. Make sure that you form a community or a team, and then try and, identify that the challenge statement, so that you can find a creative solution. It can start off in your own homes. And to all the administrators and educators out there, time is now to invest in technology, help your students live and breathe that environment. They are ready. Are you? And if you're not, there is a lot of support out there. You should be ready.
Got it. Thank you very much, Bunny. And let's move on to Mr. Sajeev. So Dr. Sajeev Nair, after his master's, he started India's McKinsey Brahma Learning Solutions, and he is the MD and chairman for Brahma Learning Solutions. So for the last around 25 years plus, at least for the last 20 years, I have been following his thoughts, his talks, his writings. And when I entered into the learning and development industry, he was an iconic figure even that time. So for the last 25 years across India, Brahma is supporting more than 1,000 companies to become so successful in life. That's why I prefer to call Brahma the India's McKinsey. And after Brahma, he started a wellness company, Way Roads, and which for that he is an MD and chairman. And currently he is running an interesting venture. And his new venture is Limovers, the global health and wellness ecosystem built in blockchain and metaverse. A very interesting entry to the metaverse and blockchain surrounding around wellness industry. And as a passion, he's also working with school students in their genetic profiling and giving them with health, wellness, and education advices. So this is what Sajeev Nair is doing, a person wearing multiple hats, founded multiple companies, and helped more than 1,000 companies to be successful. So Dr. Sajeev Nair, I would like to listen from you, your perspective, your introductory remarks about the 21st century skills, how important those are, how important you felt these skills are when you were working with other companies and building your companies. Over to you, sir.
Hello, dear students, teachers, parents. Hope Praveen didn't make that thing much complicated. You must be thinking that guy is too complex. No. Anyway, I think when it comes to skills, I more than anything else, I would love to call myself as a peak performance strategist, because that's where I get my passion. That's where my passion is. Even though I have entrepreneurial, as an entrepreneur, I may be into many ventures, but deriving peak performance in other people, that's something which I always love. That's where my kind of ikigai. Now, coming to skills, whether it is 21st century skills or whatever skills what we talk about, the good news is always that we are going through a very, very interesting phase in life. Because maybe 25 years back, no one ever would have even imagined that there could be a career called mobile technician. Right now, massive number of people have taken up a career called mobile technician. 25 years back, there was nothing like that. The same way, if you start looking at it, it is being said that by 2030, 2035, the 70% of all the jobs which you're going to see there is not existing right now. So now, with that kind of a preface, what kind of a planning you would do for your career? That's a very interesting question. Like what Ms. Bani said, I would rather say that every person can create categories. That is what I feel. Earlier, when I completed my schooling at that point of time, there were limited options. Right now, a child can create a category, and that category can become a kind of a domain, and the domain can become an industry. That's the way, that's the possibility technology is unveiling in front of us. The beauty is that, whatever you do, whatever you can actually study hundreds and thousands of people. People, they become successful either by using their talents or by using their skills. That's it. There's no third way. Talents, we call it as by birth and all those things. And skills is something which can be, you can acquire it at any point of time in your life. Like, for example, if you look at most of the things what we do in our life, like whether it is sales, we call it as sales skills. We never say sales talents. Communication skills, accounting skills, presentation skill, business skill, entrepreneurial skill. Never say talents. Nobody has ever said that entrepreneurial talent. It's all skills. So the good thing about skills is that you can acquire this. You can at any point of time in your life, and also you can improve upon it by training and practice with the support of a mentor, because that's also very important. Because the beauty of skills is anything which you repeated becomes a habit. So be very careful what you're repeating. Especially children should be very, very careful. What is that you are going to repeat? So that's why I said you need to have a good mentor. So as the role of teacher also is going to change right now. The role of teacher has to change from just a teacher to a mentor, where or else the child will find some other mentors. Now, looking at that, the good news is that any child who is sitting here right now can excel in any field by doing it again and again and again, because any skill over a period of time become an expertise. Anybody who is an expert right now in any field, for them, they identify a skill and they practiced it again and again with the support of a mentor or a guru. And that is how they have become an expert. And expertise leads to excellence. And right now, at this point of time in life, if you really wanted to, because there is empty number of opportunities out there. And the world is looking for excellence, not for mediocrity. The world is looking for authority. You take a small piece of it and you become an authority in that piece, the world is going to accept you. It can be a very small thing, so you need to really deep dive into the kind of possibilities. And then you have to understand that what kind of a skill is required to grab that piece, and then practice that again and again and again with the support of a mentor. And that's the way the entire process starts. Like what Praveen said, when we got into the genomic studies about 3 years back, and where we have something called EPLIMO, epigenetic lifestyle modification, which is actually upcoming science, where your entire information is coded in your DNA. So we decode that information. And right now we use it majorly for identifying the diseases which can happen in future and taking preventive measures. But there are lots of other information also going to come out of that, which includes what kind of sports activity fits you, what kind of a food fits you, what vegetables fit you, which kind of a fruit even can damage you, how many cups of coffee you can take. All those kinds of information we can take out from that. And we do that. Right now in India, we are almost like a pioneers in this epigenetic lifestyle modification. So there are a lot of scientific tools which are available right now, by which we would be able to trace some of those things. In China, for example, for the last 10 years, this has been a regular practice to identify the sports, when it comes to children who are choosing which sport activity they should get in. They go for a fitness genome test first, and then identify their, from that you will know that whether this child is good as an athlete or a marathoner, all those kinds of data. And then you can train the child accordingly with the right kind of nutrition, right kind of fitness programs and all those things. And you can actually, really make them focus. So these kind of tools. Another range of tools which are coming up is something called, which I love and I practice, which is called biohacking tools, which is basically hacking your own biology. Hacking your own biology means, taking charge of your own biology, your own cells, which is possible in the sense, you may think that what is this all about? It's a kind of a cyborg. I'm not talking about a cyborg. I'm talking about very simple things, what we can do. Happiness and sadness and all those kinds of things are also affecting performance. We all know that. If you are sad, you cannot study, you cannot perform. And we think that most of those things are psychological issues, and we try to resolve things at the psychological level. But right now, just for example, I'm not going to elaborate, but still just for an example, the neurochemical which is responsible for your happiness, you must have heard about this neurochemical called serotonin, or the neurochemical which is responsible for the mood, that's called dopamine. These neurochemicals right now, it is being found that even though they are called neurochemicals, 94% of the serotonin is being produced in your gut. So that is why gut is being called as a second brain. Now, to get those serotonin produced in your gut, because you need to be happy, right? If you're not happy, you're not going to be productive. So this serotonin, who produces it? The microorganisms called the bacteria or the virus or the fungi, the good ones, which are there in your gut, they produce it if you are providing the right kind of food. So think about it. Your brain is not just one instrument or one organ which is just independently working. Your gut is controlling your brain. Now, if you really wanted to, because there is an important point here, because as we rightly said, in the 21st century skills, when we talk about one thing which is really scary is the speed. Even Stephen Hawking said that the artificial intelligence will grow to the next extent. It can be a real challenge in front of the human race. And if you want to beat that speed of artificial intelligence, you have got this thing called brain, which has got more capacity than any artificial intelligence. You need to enhance it, optimize it. You have to perform at the peak levels. For that, you need to get your gut right. You need to get your entire biology right. That's called biohacking. So even the kind of food you eat, just for example, if parents who are so serious about taking their children to the next level, pure ghee that is taken from, or if you have some farmers out there, they give you something called A2. A2 means that's the casein, A2 ghee, which is ghee from grass-fed cows, which are actually grazing on the land. So grass-fed cows. This, if the child can take every single morning, empty stomach, you can see in just 6 months, his cognitive levels enhancing amazingly. So people think that ghee, oh my God, this is fat. Those are all science. It is now proven that the dietary fat doesn't have much impact on your cholesterol level, your serum cholesterol level. This is proven now. So what I'm talking about is that right now, when you're talking about 21st century skill, I would rather say it is not enough to just look at a skill or look at an area on which you wanted to develop your expertise. You need to look at your body. You need to look at your mind. You need to look at your brain. You need to optimize, and you need to really, make it really go faster than the artificial intelligence and all those kinds of cyborgs and the kind of technology which moves. Otherwise, business at the speed of thought, and business, or not just business, life at the speed of thought is which is right now we are experiencing. We need to really overtake that speed, for which you need to have higher cognitive capabilities, which has to be built in. So that is my take on this, because the good thing is in the 21st century, the opportunities are unlimited, and each person can create their own industry. That is the level of opportunity we have.
Wonderful. I think both the people put it in two different perspectives. I mean, very harmoniously going perspectives. Like Bunny was talking about the changes happening around, the speed of changes happening around, the importance of 21st century skills to be built in people, and how exactly we can pick one and work on that. I mean, how exactly we can develop that. So on top, along with that, Dr. Sajeev was mentioning another perspective. It's not only 21st century skills, it's also 21st century lifestyle, which is very important. That means we have to understand about ourselves. We have to know about ourselves, understand about the uniqueness, and we have to create a proper lifestyle, food style, and approach towards life also in 21st century if we need to go ahead in a very faster pace. And now I think I'm so curious. So what perspective Radhika is going to bring in. So let me introduce Radhika. So Radhika has completed her MA in Economics from the University of Pune and MA in Education from Howard Graduate School of Education. She has been a consultant to Ministry of Education and National Skill Development Corporation, Government of India. And now she's a lead Skills for Life at UVA at UNICEF. And Radhika, I would like to listen to you about your perspective about 21st century skills. Over to you.
Hi, thanks, Praveen. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, students. Good evening, teachers, principals, various stakeholders who are invested in our students, and my fellow panelists. Firstly, it's great that there's a National Career Guidance Festival being organized. When I was in school, I think that want for career guidance was as massive. The opportunities for access to information was a little more limited. I'm not that old, but yeah, I mean, it's great that there are organizations and people coming together to invest in young people, to make them aware about the variety of opportunities available. Before I go into 21st century skills, just want to leave you all with one statistic. There are over 500 careers currently available in the market. On average, a student knows 8 of them. This is a reflection of how we are not able to bring that tackle that information asymmetry for students. And a key piece is working with school students. So yeah, just coming back to huge shout out for the National Career Guidance Festival itself. And I hope we're able to take it to all students across India. Coming to 21st century skills itself. So as Praveen said, I lead the Skills for Life and Livelihoods at UNICEF. Within UNICEF, we are a division called YUVA. We are working for young people, with young people, keeping your voices at the center of our solutions. And that brings me to 21st century skills. We live in a dynamic world. We live in, as Sajeev sir said, we live in a time when speed is so tremendous. Things are changing so fast. We need to prepare for jobs that don't exist yet. 70% is the statistic that Sanjeev sir spoke about. Becomes all the more important that these 21st century skills are kept in that context, because technical knowledge, technical skills, academic knowledge, you will always be able to get that. You will always be able to gain that because there are structured services. You have your schools, you have your colleges, you have your ITIs, you have a whole system serving for that. But what about 21st century skills? It's not new. We all know communication. We all know collaboration. We all know problem solving. We have all heard about it. We have all applied it, even if unknowingly, while school students, while college students in our careers. The importance of calling out 21st century skills and including it in our education system, which we're doing in India. You know, the education policy is focusing on it. The schools are focusing on it, and your principals and teachers are also driving it. The importance of calling it out is, if you don't know what needs to be built, how are you going to build it? And that's the context of 21st century skills. Just again, a statistic, because I love stats. There are 65 frameworks worldwide talking about 21st century skills. It doesn't matter. For you, there's something called the Life Skills Glossary, which has been developed by educators, by practitioners, by government stakeholders in the system in India for students to understand what life skills means. When I say problem solving, do you know what that means? You may know it. If I say metacognition, do you know what that means? Maybe not. Metacognition, though, is very important because it helps you understand how you learn as a student. And in this constantly dynamic, ever-changing world, how you learn is important to know, because tomorrow your teacher is not going to be there. Your principal is not going to be there. You may not have a mentor, but just recognizing how you learn allows you to take charge of your skill development, allows you to be a lifelong learner, right? And that is the context of why and what are 21st century skills. It is those human skills, it is those employability skills. There is a strong connect of life skills to well-being itself, especially in the post-pandemic context where there is so much uncertainty, where especially as students, you all have had 2 years of school closures, you all are coming back to physical schools, you all have been disconnected from friends, you all have been disconnected from social circles. There is uncertainty, and recognizing that, knowing your basic life skills just helps you also take charge of your well-being. And of course, there are excellent support systems, excellent tools, excellent solutions in the market to help you with that journey. Coming to UNICEF itself, and how I'm just going to talk to you about 2 solutions. In fact, both these solutions you're working with the Central Board of Secondary Education and with your schools, with your principals, in making it available to all of you. So one is a chatbot-based solution. It is basically available on WhatsApp. I'm sure all of you all use WhatsApp, if not on your own phones, on your parents' phones. But how about you use it to also learn? And learning is not your math, your science, your languages. Learning is, how do I build my own CV? But how do I become a public speaker? Or what are some of the careers available, while also building self-awareness about what your interests are, what your abilities are, what your skills are, as well as what are the options that will help you get an income, right? All along this, you're also building life skills, also exploring careers. It's a tool called Fundu. I'm happy to share a link to it on the chat. A lot of you, I think, are already working with us on it. We had done a massive campaign with CBSE schools, and we saw a lot of interest from CBSE students. For those of you who are not with us yet, happy to share, this is a free tool. It's our take on WhatsApp University. And the second one is something called Passport to Earning. Again, the focus is, how do we help you as students really take charge of your own learning? Inherently, as humans, we are very curious. What happens is, when we get a lot of information, or we get a lot of deadlines, whether it's exams or in the work deadlines, is we are stretched for time, and that may take a toll on your curiosity. But inherently, we're all interested and learning at our own pace, different things. And to solve for that, we are bringing self-paced learning courses on a platform called Passport to Earning. We are working with CBSE, again, to make it available to the maximum number of students in our schools itself. You can learn it at your own time. You can learn the courses you want, and we're working with teachers to support teachers so that they can help you take up these courses itself. I'm going to take a quick pause on that, on the solutions, but happy to speak about it if there's any curiosity. One other thing, because this is a student-facing event, did want to speak about one other aspect that you can take, that you can drive for yourself in building your 21st century capabilities or becoming ready for careers of the 21st century. It is understanding or learning to learn, right? Learning to learn isn't how you memorize. Learning to learn is seeing the patterns in how you are, what interests you, how you're building that new skill, and what keeps you consistent and motivated to build those new skills, whether it's knowledge or skills. And that is why learning to learn is also very linked to self-awareness, in a way that you have to look at what piques your curiosity, what takes you down that black hole of reading more, learning more, listening more, however you like to get information, just understanding those patterns, and also what excites you as an individual, what keeps you going above and beyond grades, above and beyond acknowledgement from your parents, from your friends. What is it that intrinsically motivates you? So on that note, I am going to take a pause, and thank you. It's great to be here.
Sure, thank you, Radhika. I think we were talking initially about, Bani was talking initially about the 21st century skills, the pace of the world, and how important to build these skills and how to make use of technology to the maximum to, to build these skills. Whereas Dr. Sajeev was talking about more than 21st century skills, the importance of 21st century lifestyle, food style, and understanding ourselves through a genetic tool, and then how exactly we can fix up our own development plan. And Radhika introduced two more tools which they are working closely with CBSE for all of our access. And also Radhika was also talking about how important it is to look inside and understand our own patterns and work on that. And now I think, Bani, I have a question to you. It's like, when we talk about all this, like 21st century skills, 21st century lifestyle, or the epigenetic stuff and the genetic stuff, or like Radhika was saying about looking into self and understanding the pattern. So there is a common question. There's a common point with people like, should we put this much of effort to live in this world? It's like, it's too much, right? We need to think about 21st century, we need to develop ourselves. We need to study, we need to get marks, we need to get grades, we need to get into good colleges. Along with this, we need to put a lot of effort to all this. See, when I have been interacting with the school children, this is one problem, because everybody knows that it is important, but how important it is, should we give that much importance to these? And how exactly we can prioritize this when we are having a lot of other studies in place? See, how do you take that mindset of children?
Yeah. So I'll address the question of, is it important and can everybody do that? So the answer to that is yes. It is important and everybody should invest in the skills. And if I can just simplify that, when I mean that you should focus on skills and how you can actually be the best at what you are or be the best that you can be, it is about whatever interests you, whether it is music or dance, whether it is the creative field, it's the technology field, it is the business field, it is probably entrepreneurship or running a business or finance or whatever that is. I think the fundamental thing that we need to invest time in is knowing ourselves and feeling confident about who we are. That's fundamental. Let's start from there. If we have that awareness about ourselves and we are comfortable with that, now the journey begins for, here I am, I realize that this is my interest, how do I take it forward? I think that's when the world opens up to, acknowledging that there are several ways that you will be able to enhance whatever you're already good at. That's the part that you mean about skilling. Something is as fundamental again as, when you're interacting with your peer group or when you're interacting in your school group, how can you make the effort of bringing in different perspectives rather than only what you know? And that can be in the form of, projects that you may do that maybe as a simple activity that you might want to create the school board with your teachers, or lead an assembly, or just contribute and to a cleaning exercise in your school, because that is an activity that will help you not only discover yourself and what you're capable for, but also will give you the satisfaction that you made an impact with several other people as well. Now that's the fundamental, like, how can I do it for myself? The second level is where we say that the world of internet or the world of technology opens up. Now there is a passion that you follow, and that you have some of that skill. How do I creatively move to the next level? How do I actually be able to skill myself to create a business plan? How do I go and understand financials better, or how do I understand a language better so I can become a writer or a journalist? Each of these paths have been so well curated on YouTube channels, on YouTube creators giving you insights into how to prepare yourself to follow these paths, all the way from a basic research. Even your peer group, your teacher group, your WhatsApp groups will encourage you to learn more and more. So the world has opened up to just saying, I need to only learn what I can, or tap my ecosystem, which is immediate, my parents, my family, my education ecosystem, to actually being able to cross boundaries of your city, cross boundaries of your state, cross boundaries of outside of the country. I don't know how many people are here who prefer Hindi, but अगर मैं simply put करूँ, what is more important is कि आप अपनी क्षमता को पहचानिए, जो मुझे पसंद है वो समझिए, and then find ways जहाँ से आप connect कर सकेंगे, जो आपको encourage करेंगे उस path को pursue करने के लिए. That will not only give you joy, but will also help you develop things as can I become a public speaker? Can I express myself? आप अपने आप को express कर सकेंगे in the form of a dance or a theater, or in terms of academics, because हम सब unique हैं, and we are all very great in who we are, and that's the diversity we have to celebrate. And again, I'll finally end by saying that technology also, in my mind, provides you the secure or safe environment, and that's one thing जो बहुत clearly evident research में भी आया है, that स्कूल में जब हम बड़ी बड़ी क्लासेस में बैठे होते हैं, एक टीचर को पता नहीं है मैं क्यों एक पीछे बैठ के क्वाइटली अपने नोटबुक में कर रहा हूँ या कर रही हूँ एक काम. टीचर को ये नहीं पता चलता है कि मुझे उसी के पास उसी टाइम जाना है और encourage करना है. But technology provided that via media, that if I was stuck and a teacher could have easily given me a video कि अगर आपको समझ नहीं आया ये concept, आपको 5 बार ये रिकॉर्ड करना है, आपको 2 मिनट की वीडियो देखनी है, स्टार्ट स्टॉप करना है, बिकॉज मेरे को शायद 1 मिनट में नहीं समझ आता वो कॉन्सेप्ट, तो आप 5 मिनट लीजिए, बट कम बैक, टेक योर टाइम, invest in yourself in understanding that concept, and then come and explain it in your own way. हमें वो fundamentals करने पड़ेंगे. Technology is allowing you to do that, and you don't have to raise your hand कि मुझे समझ नहीं आया. आप क्वाइटली बोल सकते हो कि मुझे ये वीडियो देखना है, मुझे 1 मिनट में नहीं आया, 5 मिनट में वीडियो देखूंगा, 5 बार रिपीट लूप में करूंगा, and then I'll come back and explain it. And so I think that's the unique aspect that technology allows, and it opens up the boundaries. मुझे अपने अगर टीचर से encouragement नहीं मिल रही है या फैमिली से encouragement नहीं मिल रही है, can I find a mentor who is online and can actually coach me to follow that passion along with everything I do? So वो वाले opportunities इतनी आसानी से पहले available नहीं थे, अब हैं, अब at the click of a button in our phone है, तो we should use that. I think parents should encourage that, teachers should encourage that, and we should bring it into schools. If we do not bring some of these choices into schools, हमारे school system में पता नहीं होगा, हम यही बोलेंगे शहर के बच्चे ये करते हैं, हमारे लिए तो ये opportunity है नहीं. But why is that? I mean, the opportunity, it is democratized. Internet has democratized access. It has democratized the way that we'll be able to learn whichever part of the world we are. तो अगर हम ये टेक्नोलॉजी अपने क्लासरूम में नहीं लाएंगे या अपॉर्चुनिटीज क्लासरूम में नहीं ले आएंगे, how will I progress? How will I have the same opportunity to speak up? And if our vision is that each of us as students can follow our passion, be skilled enough to get a good job or open our own companies or be part of an ecosystem that can support families, we owe it to our children कि उनको expose कीजिए, उनको वो knowledge base से expose कीजिए, उनको अपना path follow करने दीजिए, वो personal path ढूंढने दीजिए. And for edtech companies and all, they're already pursuing them because they know through analytics कि ये बच्चे को ये particular skill sets का interest है, but उसके pace में नहीं पढ़ाया जा सकता है या फिर उनके सारा information नहीं मिल रहा है. How can I service that? So I think those are the innovations that I'm really looking forward to.
Got it, Bunny. Thank you very much. And let's move to Dr. Sajeev. Dr. Sajeev, my question is like, as Bunny was also saying, it's super important and the people have to build on all this by taking the advantage of technology, YouTube and all. So I have a question to you. I know many people, I think this question is there on the chat box by a person for a couple of times as well. It's like, the people start working on this. And then after some days, they lose the interest and move ahead like, as a normal one. It's like sometimes I feel that I want to develop my 21st century skills and I start finding important that I want to improve my communication and public speaking. And I watch videos, I read about it and I start doing it. Maybe after 3-4 days, I lose interest and I go back to the normalcy. So this is happening with many people. So my question to you is how exactly this can make us a habit? How exactly we can make us a part of life? So what do you think about developing something? The development becomes a habit or a part of life, a culture in life. How exactly we can make it? What advice or what comment you want to make on that to children?
I think the first question you asked to Ms. Bani, so where you were talking about decision making too complex in this world, with a lot of things happening around. But the beauty is that all this technology and all the possibilities, even the kind of tools which are available right now, they are all making, or at least they are trying to make life simple. So if it all depends on how you are going to look at it. Now, see, the key factor is there are so many opportunities. There are so many, just like what I said in the first session, that each person can create their own kind of an industry, their own kind of domain. So we really don't know. That's the world. That's the way the world is progressing because the new job patterns are going to come up and all. Thinking about this, how you get into something like a habituated format where you started, and that I need to develop this skill, and I started practicing it. After some time, I quit very, very soon. And especially at this point of time, most of the children are facing this problem because parallelly, along with the opportunities on site, the same opportunities are creating distractions because you are distracted. Even I'm sure that at the time when the session is going on, everybody's mobile must be getting so many messages, WhatsApp message, this message, that message, Instagram message, so many messages at the same time. So one point we are saying that, people don't have focus, the children don't have focus. And, but at the same time, we are training our brain not to have focus. If you seriously look at it, we are actually training our brain not to have focus. You are eating food at the same time the TV is on. So you are taking the lunch and you are actually looking at the TV and watching the show. Could be a crime thriller which is going on out there, and you are actually having your food. At the same time, you are attending a call. That's very interesting. And you think that your brain, how are you training your brain now? आप focus के लिए train कर रहे हैं या distraction के लिए train कर रहे हैं? We are actually distracting. We are actually training our brain for distractions, and the brain is actually confused. And it is not attention deficiency problems right now. It is attention sufficiency. Because if somebody is saying that the child is not attending, child is not able to attend, the question is that the issue? Or is it that the teacher is not able to speed up? Because earlier it is said that, before internet or rather the TV and all those kinds of things came so much into these lives of people, the processing capacity was around 120 words per minute, human brain. So when I'm talking, your brain is processing 120 words per minute. In my childhood, I used to have this Amar Chitra. That is what I used to see. So wo to still hai, that's still. So usme processing ka to utna to problem to nahi hai. आज के दिन में तो क्या हो रहा है कि the moment the child is born, you are actually putting the child in front of a TV screen, where the screen is changing almost every 2 to 3 seconds. So automatically the brain processing capacity also increases. उसके बाद अगर उनको एक classroom में बिठा के, when the teacher is actually teaching something, it is almost like a slow motion picture moving on. And you, your problem is not here, you are not able to catch up. So the issue is right now, we need to bring in holistic approach into teaching, holistic approach in developing the next generation, which includes meditation. You know, meditation should be made compulsory in schools, I would rather say, because, you know, there are so many opportunities, there are so many things happening, you know, technology can help you out, but at the same time, if the child cannot focus, then it's a problem. Now, at the same time, we all know that some children, they click. How do they click? Some way, you know, just like Ms. Bani said, you know, when you are putting a child into so many different things, you know, and all the children who are actually attending this session, that was a very good learning. That's an excellent learning. Even I appreciate that. That point is very important. Do everything and see where you're getting that kind of a aha moment in your life. You know, you do everything, do so many different things, whatever is possible, leadership, games, you know, maybe cleaning the room. जहाँ पे कहाँ पे आपको वो जो मिल रहा है, यानी कि जो you know, that spark when you get, because that's only one way you can identify where is that my ikigai lies, and somewhere around that is what even Gallup organization, after surveys of lakhs of people, they said that the only one way you can identify the talent is when you get a spark from your leg to your head and all those kinds of stuff. So you have to get that somewhere, and once you identify that, uske agal bagal mein kuch to hai aapka. So that is where you have to start working on it. And then you need to you need to enhance the skill with the support of the proper tools, proper systems, and proper mentorship. That is the way you can grow. And Praveen, believe me, the moment you attain something called flow, nobody can stop you. You know, any child, anybody for that matter, once you identify that area where I'm getting this thing, and then I start working on it, that's where you attain something called flow. I would rather say that everyone should, at least I'm sure anyone who has succeeded in life, you know, in a proper way, they all must have attained the experience flow. Flow is a state when the more you work, the more energetic you become. You know, you don't get tired. You want to work, you want to do it more and more and more. And how do you attain that flow state? And anyone who is sitting here should be looking at how can I attain a flow state, at least in one area in my life. And just bang, you know, that's where you are. And then go on and really become a master in that, become an authority in that, instead of looking at so many different things. Today, one child will go and play cricket. Tomorrow, his interest is lost, going to play football. Yeah, it's okay, you try. But once you find that this is something is working for me, go ahead, go deeper into it, get trained yourself. And if you're getting the flow, then that's where you are. I think instead of that, if you try to induce something by the theoretical things like, you know, 21 days practice makes everything kind of habit, I'm not a strong believer of that. I've seen people who have been practicing for 30 days, 40 days, after that they fail, because that is not, they are not connecting. They're basically, they are not getting that flow into that. So I would rather say that everyone, every child, even parents should encourage their children, wherever they can attain that flow, wherever that child, you can see that if someone is working on a flow. I know that I have been observing Praveen for so many years, like at least for the 4 or 5 years. So I know that where you get the flow. I know Rahul where he gets the flow. So that's you have to bang on. That is where you need to hit on. So that's what I would rather say, instead of saying that 21 days practice will make everything permanent. I don't think so.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you very much. Radhika, I perfectly understand in a formal discussion like this, I mean, on a formal open platform like this, so the personal question has no relevance, but still, or we should not make discussions personal. But I would like to take the next question, the last round, to all of you in a very personal note. So Radhika, what exactly you do, or you did, or you have been doing for improving yourself, for understanding your flow, for finding your purpose, and to improve your 21st century skills? So what you do, but in the same question will come to you, and Sajeev sir, the same question will come to you. Sorry, Radhika, that you are the first person I ask,
Yeah, that-
and they get time to think and prepare.
That's an excellent question. Actually, it goes back to what I was advising, what I was suggesting that students, as well as parents, teachers, and principals help students do is learning to learn, like understanding
Yeah.
how I learn. And I started much later. I
Mhm.
got to know about it in an informal way. And only then got to know that it's coined as learning to learn, or it's building a lifelong mindset or a growth mindset, and all these fancy words. But essentially, I think that's been key to how I've been able to navigate the different challenges in personal and professional life. I have held 5 different jobs in under 10 years, and each one has challenged me. Each one has also helped me understand how I learn, and each one is also helping me get to learn about what is my flow state, right? Like that's brilliant. It's great that Sajeev, you brought it up, because I think getting that flow is so rare, but once you get it, it is so insightful. So yeah, I would think learning to learn is something that I have been building and I continue to build. Apart from that, I think communication is a very underrated skill, and I'm not talking about language. I am talking about the active listening element of communication. It's very underrated. It is very important as you grow in life, as you get into the workplace, as you navigate the different situations that a workplace will throw at you. So, yeah.
Got it. So Dubani, the question is already asked, and now just listening to you.
Yeah. So thank you for the question. I think if I look back on my student life and now into my professional life, one thing that I see as a common thread is that I was always willing to give myself a chance from my student life itself, and I was always wanting to make connects. I was always wanting to listen and engage and say, how can I do this differently, or how is it going to help me make my friends in the group come together with me or happier, or how can I actually go out there and do something different every day. And finally, I would say that one of the qualities that I carry very dearly is that I don't like to give up. Try till I succeed. And I also believe in the power of positivity. If I get up every morning and I feel positive that I am going in and I love what I'm doing, I will do that day. And that is very important. It's basic. And then all of the other stuff, that all the good stuff जो हम बता रहे हैं कि creativity भी आ जाएगी और entrepreneurship भी आ जाएगी और passion भी आ जाएगा, it will happen because you're happy, because you get up as a positive thought that I want to make a difference. So I would say that.
Got it. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Dr. Sajeev, the question is asked and we are listening to you.
Absolutely. I think for me,
and hold on, sir. I think so as I told in the initial remark, so I have been observing you for the last around 20 years and looking up to you. It's like, how do you keep that flow continuously for 20 plus years on doing whatever things you are doing? And that's also, I'm just adding on top of all. Over to you.
Could be, it must have built up, because till, see, I'll just tell you, during my school days, especially children are here, so they should know, during my school days or my college days, I never used to come up in front of people, in the sense that I never used to be a good speaker. I was very shy. Even now I am shy, for that matter. I'm a kind of an introvert, I don't go to the kind of clubs and all those stuff. Even during my MBA time, when the group, group activities and when I have to present the seminar kind of classes, that time also I used to participate. I used to give ideas, concepts and all those stuff. When it comes to presentation, I'll skip that place. So that was me. But I think when I came into business, I came into job, and there I started doing a bit of presentations. And then I came into business, where I started doing some presentations, some business discussions, business presentation. That was the time I started feeling that, yes, there is something in it. I'm getting it. This is working for me. And then I just started focusing on that. I started listening to some of the great speakers around the world. I started watching some of the great speakers in the world and how they perform and all those stuff. And by God's grace, by 2000, 2003, I think by 2003, I started addressing more than 10,000 people in one stadium. So, just imagine, maybe about 5 years, if you go back, I was an introvert. I was not even thinking about that. So that was there in me. But I couldn't figure it out. The point is, we really don't know when you can trigger that kind of that point, that spark, and you can get into the flow state. The good thing is that for children right now who are attending these kind of sessions, you're getting so many opportunities to get that trigger in the early stages itself. You may not have to wait till the age of 23 or 24 to figure it out. And once I started getting into that journey, I started realizing that what is giving me really good, exciting moments is creativity and innovation. Creating new things, finding out new things. If I get bored by doing something for quite some time, so I innovate on something. That actually made me to understand that I could be a good serial entrepreneur. So because a serial entrepreneur is someone who actually builds something, put it into systems, let it run by itself, and I create something new. And I always have got that. I found that I always have got that quest to learn more all the time. Now when I am working on a project which maybe 2 years back, I had no clue about this project, like the blockchain, the Web3, the Web3 protocols. I had no clue. But because I got into the health and wellness ecosystem, where we have the personal genomics happening, and we are providing personalized lifestyle modifications, and we are having dietitians, fitness trainers, and all connected to our business model. So we wanted to bring them onto a platform. Then I started thinking that what could be the right platform? Because normally people think about aggregator platforms. So I thought, why not we have a decentralized platform where every practitioner can be independent, they can build their own brands. And that's where the Web3 protocol and the kind of blockchain. So what I'm saying is, I understood two things. One, I'm really getting that energy when I see that through me, some kind of a transformation can happen to other people. Okay. That really energizes me. Even after 20 or 30 years, even yesterday, I was telling my son that I think I can go on for another 10, 15 years, the same energy level. Don't worry about it. So because last Sunday, we had an event called Rise Up, where there were 2,500 people, and I was doing it for 10 hours continuously on, the show. So it's called Peak Performance Shows. Now, what I'm talking about is that this is an invention. The greatest invention you can have, the greatest discovery you can have is that, what is that spark in me? Where is that I can achieve that flow? And once, like what Bani said, and also, once you understood that flow, I am telling you, every morning you're so excited to wake up, because you're waking up to the best, to do the best. There is so many things waiting for you. It's not like, oh my God, one more day, what should I do today? It's not like that. It's an exciting day. So you will be thanking that, one more day you have got. Some people come to me and say that I'm not very excited, sir. I feel a bit disappointed all the time. I said, man, you woke up today, right? Yeah, you have a reason to be excited, because there are so many people in the world that didn't wake up today. So there's a reason to be excited. So if you start looking at from that angle, there's so many reasons. For children, you should be thankful to your parents because they're providing the best for you. You should be thankful, in your mind every day morning, you should wake up and say that, thank God, I got such a loving parent, they're providing everything. You should thank all the kinds of technology and everything which is available to you. You are living in this world, in this country at this point of time. It's wonderful. That itself is a blessing. So that is what you need to express your gratitude, and you need to really search for your flow. I think everyone can attain that flow.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Over the last 1 hour, let me do the concluding remarks for this discussion. So for the last 1 hour, we have been discussing with Bani from Google, Radhika from Yuva at UNICEF, and Dr. Sajeev Nair from Epilimo. And we have been listening to them talking about life as a whole, importance of 21st century skills, and the importance of looking into ourselves, identify the flow, identify the self, identify the something which is giving us kick, do it again and again and again, and don't lose motivation, and continuously do it. And later on, we will get into a stage where we are ready to do everything, and we are having all the energy to go forward. Thank you very much, Bani, Ratika, Dr. Sajeev for joining us. Thank you very much. We are moving into, yeah, Deva, you wanted to say something.
No, actually, because from the time, we did keep announcing that we've got, UNICEF, we've got Google. So the one question that has been going on coming, I thought, जाने से पहले आपको ये question तो जरूर आंसर करना ही पड़ेगा, क्योंकि वरना तो बच्चे हमें पता नहीं क्या करेंगे। और वो एक सवाल ये है कि how do I become a software engineer in Google? मतलब सबकी ड्रीम जॉब वही है। अगर हम करियर के बारे में डिस्कस करें, गाइडेंस के बारे में डिस्कस करें, सबको यही जानना है कि गूगल में करियर स्टार्ट कैसे करते। तो बस ये एक सवाल के जवाब अब दे दीजिए और फिर हम क्लोज करेंगे।
I would say that, go for, whatever your dreams are. And if that is a dream career at Google, go for it. Follow your passion, follow the streams that you see. On the more official side, we do have a lot of career opportunities in India. We have 4 offices in India. We post all of those career opportunities on our websites. So please visit those. Usko dekhiye, agar aapko koi fit lagta hai to kijiye. But what I would say more importantly is that don't you only think about where I can actually go in and work with Google. What I would say is think about how can I create many more Googles, and maybe also think about how can I have many more of my peers join this and create a new world. So go for it. Like I said, all the best to you.
Amazing. Wow, that's a goosebump wala answer. Thank you so much. All right, Praveen. So that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deba. Let me move forward. So because we are 5 minutes late already, so let me move forward very quickly. Thank you, Bani. Thank you, Radhika. Thank you, Dr. Sajeev. I would like to see that you are staying with us and listening to the next session as well, if possible, and if your time permits. Let's move forward. And Dr. Sajeev Nair was ending his conversation by saying the word innovation. And next session, we are going exclusively for innovation. We have an exceptional person with us. We have a person who has been an academician, an innovator by himself, and an enthusiast of human development. And the profile is like a socio-technologist, a person who is using technology for the social upliftment and for the social development. We have Dr. Chintan Vaishnav with us, and he's a mission director for Atal Innovation Mission. He's doing something very interesting. He's traveling across India, moving across India, talking to people, mobilizing the stakeholders, and under Niti Aayog, he is trying to make sure we are putting all the bricks together, all the pieces together, and trying to make India a country of innovation, a hub of innovation through schools, through colleges, through the Rural Innovation Network. So Dr. Chintan is on a leave from his academic career from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, a wonderful career, and spending his time in India to ensure that India is becoming innovative. We have Dr. Chintan Vaishnav with us to talk about innovation. Dr. Chintan, so I'm straight away going to one point, so I would like to listen to your introductory remarks, and then we will take a couple of questions from students and move forward. So, but I would like to see, along with your introductory remarks, is innovation something for all, or is innovation something only for people who are working in the corporates or entrepreneurs? That is one question I would like to listen from you as an answer. And along with that, your introductory remarks on innovation, Dr. Chintan. Go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, Praveen and Lifeology and all of you for this wonderful opportunity. Thank you for bringing all the kids who I hope will benefit from our conversation today. Well, I think you asked a very important question. Is innovation for everybody? I think so. And here's why. So imagine the world where, made up of gears. So imagine that technology is one gear, consumer preferences is another gear, corporations and corporate strategy is one more gear, finance is one more gear, markets and market choices, regulatory processes, each of these is a gear. When one gear moves, other gears move, right? So that's the picture. That's the picture of the world. Now, what is innovation in this picture? Is it only in the corporate strategy gear? No, innovation is the oil that's in between all of these gears, right? When there's no innovation, you have a lot of sand in these gears, so they move really slow. When you have a lot of when you have innovation, they move more smoothly. So innovation is at all levels, right? At everywhere. So it is something that you can't exclude anybody or anything from. So from innovation, nobody is excludable, if you would. So I think I think we have to think about it from that perspective, when we do that, then you will see that. I mean, if you're a student, let's say, and you've decided that you want to improve your scores, or you want to go to a certain top ranked college or whatever, you want a certain most sought after job. There was a conversation about how to get a job in Google, for example. In that journey, see, here's what will happen. Think about it this way. That if you go to a private tuition class, let's say, 80% of your mistakes are going to be eliminated by the effort of that private tutoring. But the last 10-20% of your mistakes, which is taking away your points, or which is marking you negatively, will require you to innovate, because only you know those mistakes. Nobody else can innovate for you. There you will have to say, oh, I make these very peculiar errors, and I will have to observe myself and innovate out of it, whatever that innovation may be. So this is a subject that should apply to all. In fact, I believe that even the structured methods like design thinking, for instance, that allows somebody to empathize with the situations around them, define a problem, ideate a solution, come out with a build a test and prototype, and build and test a prototype. These processes are applicable to any problem. There is no absolutely zero conflict of in learning this with anything else that you may be doing. It will only strengthen you. So
correct. Got it. So Dr. Chintan, when I was discussing with Dr. Saha of CBSE regarding the panel for the entire program, so he was telling me, like, why can't we do this program, National Guidance Festival, without Dr. Chintan? Because now I understood why he was saying that, because you put innovation in a very, very simple manner, and you also, through in a very simple, soft-spoken manner, you inspired people to be innovative in nature. So I just want to ask you one aspect, Dr. Chintan. It's like, just you told, without innovation, the sands will be there in between the wheels, and so we have to innovate everywhere, and innovation is for everybody. That's what you said. See, what is something which is not usually stopping people? Because how to innovate, we can think about multiple things. So what are the factors normally which is stopping people or slowing down people from being innovators? Because those factors may be the factors which are many times hindering or stopping the people who are listening to us also from becoming innovators. So do you see any particular factors or mindset which is really slowing down people to become innovative?
Yeah, that's a very tough and deep question, Praveen. Because see, children, when they are born, are naturally creative. They don't have a lot of constraint when they think. There was this beautiful example that somebody showed me, that there was this village where they had this, they had a drinking water tank, and they were outside a school, and there were these taps outside, right? In one line, there were these taps from which you could drink water. Now, there were some kids who were really tall and had to bend a lot to drink. There were some other kids who were really short and couldn't reach the tap, because the school had children of all ages. Now, the school authority, for example, was scratching their heads. If we change the tap, we have to rebuild the tank, whatever. Then they came along this kid, and he said, "Why don't we mount the pipe on which these taps are diagonally? So the tall one can drink from the top, and the short one can drink from the bottom." How beautiful, right?
Correct. Yeah.
But those instincts somehow slowly, as we go into more and more formal education, those instincts are lost. Either because somebody says, "Oh, this problem's answer has to be done this way. There is no other way to come up with an answer." Or because somebody says, well, there are many subjects where there is an absolutely clear answer, right? Mathematics is one of them. There's an absolutely clear answer. Now, the harder problem in mathematics, there is no absolute answer. But in social science and so on, for instance, if you're writing about history or social science, why does there have to be an absolute answer? But because our system forces people to say, well, unless you give me this answer, I will not give you points. Slowly, those instincts of creativity, etc., go away, because in order to compete and run that race, we begin to lose holding on to those creative instincts and convictions. Take time. I mean, take a lot of energy, because everybody's against it. Secondly, a lot of as you go into higher grades, because the mainstream subjects, because subjects like science and math and all that get harder and so on, people say, "Oh, now stop learning arts, stop learning music, stop learning dance." Whereas art is really the only thing that keeps the person movable from inside. Think about this. Art is really the only thing that keeps people movable from inside. And that's very key to creativity. But I think the system's kind of pitched against it,
Got it. So, Dr. Chintan, here I would like to ask you one more thing. It's like, you talk about innovation, you talk about the hindrances for becoming innovative, and for children who want to be innovative and balance along with the other academics. So we have this adult tinkering labs or any other facilities inside the CBSE schools and other schools. So can you just shower some light on that? It's like, what exactly, if a student want to grow up, to brush up, to develop their innovative abilities as well, what ecosystem we have in our country for that?
So I think, well, Adult Tinkering Labs was an experiment, but it has turned out to be quite an interesting experiment, in the sense that we have now established 10,000 of them. And in the places where they work, they function well, where there's a good teacher in place, where there is an external mentor who is willing to work with students and so on. There are some wonderful things happening, because Adult Tinkering Lab as an environment it happens to produce certain attributes that are not present in the mainstream regular education. For example, inside Adult Tinkering Lab, there is no exam. So that's one. Inside Tinkering Lab, you are allowed to look for problems around you. You are taught how to articulate a problem. And then you're taught three things. I mean, one is, can you articulate a problem? Second is, do you have a process to come up with a creative solution to that problem that creates some value for somebody? And third is, if you can create value for somebody, do you have a process by which you can capture some value, a business model, to really earn a bit from it, right? These three things it's trying to teach. Now, the problem articulation is something that our education system just doesn't teach. We only teach solutions. Think about it. We only teach articulation of a solution, not a problem. Somebody gives you a problem in the exam, you write a solution. that solution has already been taught to you. But in real life, it's exactly the opposite, right? The problem comes before the solution. And
Correct.
so it
Correct.
completely
Yeah.
puts the paradigm on its head. And that liberates people, that liberates people. The other thing is, it gives people some hands-on tool to be able to bring out as a product something that was in their head. This is an important moment, because if you look around yourself right now, the only things that are everything other than the nature, what was produced by the nature, was a conception of some human being at some point in time.
Yeah.
The screen that you and I are using, that's conception of some. So that idea of having something in the head and being able to make a product out of it is a major transition, because at that point, the person is no longer a mere consumer of something that somebody gives to them, is capable of making and modifying and all that. So this ethos, if we can embrace, of teaching people articulate a problem, come up with a creative solution, create a value capturing mechanism, give them the confidence that they can make what is in their head. These things, if we can do, then I think we'll keep people creative.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So, Dr. Chintan, one more thought I want to share with you. It's like, we talk about innovation, we talk about the hindrances, we talked about if a person want to be innovative, what is the ecosystem we have, everything we talk about. See, many times, so when we talk to students in schools, many times the word innovation or innovator is linked to some of the brainy guys only. It's like, the front benchers, the person who is scoring a lot of marks, the person who is scoring a lot of marks in physics and mathematics. So, how do you take that point? Is innovation only for the brainy guys who is scoring a lot of marks? When I call brainy guys, the people who are scoring a lot of marks in exams, because that's a sad fact I have seen is like, the people who are scoring not that much of marks in these kind of subjects and not even associating or attaching the word innovation in anywhere in their thoughts. So how do you want to take that point, and how do you want to address those people who are not even thinking about innovation?
Yeah. No, so here's the thing. So innovation as a term has nothing to do with how many marks somebody scores. Nothing, absolutely orthogonal to the idea of marks. Okay, I'll give you one extreme example. I used to do a lot of work with farmers all over the country in designing, understanding their problems and designing solutions for them and so on. And at every stage, we worked with farmers. So when the prototypes got made, for example, we showed it to farmers, got their feedback. We did it in a very scientific manner. And when I will go to villages in Uttarakhand, Jharkhand, etc., invariably there will be a group of 10, 15, 20 people who will show up. Many of them were women. As soon as I say we are going to start doing this exercise, a group will sit in one corner and everybody will sit in the other corner. And then I will ask, why are you sitting in two different groups? And this group sitting in one corner will say, sir, main kahan padha hu, sir? Main kahan padhi hu? Main to padhi likhi nahi hu. Whatever. Then we go through the creative exercise, and invariably, great solutions come from both groups, irrespective of what grades they got or when they got dropped out of school or whatever. So this is just a mindset. We just have to do away with it. That innovation has nothing to do with. Now, if you want to do like high-end oncology drugs, you want to innovate and you need to know a lot of biology for it and all that, fine. You will need to have somebody who is capable of doing that. But innovating to solve our problems, I don't think that has anything to do with your grades.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much for that wonderful answer, sir. I think we have taken two people. It's like, we were having a lot of chats going on the both the platforms like YouTube and the other platform. And we have selected two people out of them, like, to ask you questions directly. So I'm just going to take them onto the panel so that they will be asking questions to you directly. They will introduce themselves and ask the questions directly to you. So Deepa.
Okay.
Yes. So thank you so much, sir, first of all, because that was very encouraging. And I'm sure many students relate to whatever you said, especially in terms of innovation. So we've got two students. Let me just invite them. We've got a lot of questions coming in, but due to time constraints, just two of them. So the first student who will be coming forward is Digambari. Digambari, please go ahead, introduce yourself and ask us the question. Yes, I think Digambari is just joining the session. But in the meantime, sir, there are a few questions that's come in from people who've been watching it live as well. So one of them, I think it was also for some of our earlier panelists. It was basically, how do you differentiate between distractions and multitasking? That was one of the questions that came in. I think that was also a parent who asked the question, because when we sort of tell them to study online and at the same time do a lot of other things, are we really multitasking them, or are we really distracting them? That was a question. So Dr. Chintan, would you want to answer the question, take the question?
I think Deepa mostly, you're taking the point about, like, many times when people think about education or about development or even about innovating or starting up a company. So nowadays, the biggest problem people face is like distraction and lack of focus. It's like there are too much of things around us and abundance of information around us, get distracted very much. So Dr. Chintan, I just want to take the question to the level where it's like, from your experience of working with a lot of innovators, a lot of people who are into the world of innovation, how do they handle these distractions? Because that would be too much a good answer or a good value addition point for our children.
Oh, that's a tough question. That's a research question. So I don't have an authoritative answer to it, but I'll tell you what I have seen or have been thinking about. So I think, the idea of distraction is to take attention away from where it should be. That is what is distraction, right? You got distracted to think about something as opposed to what you should be thinking about or doing, or what. That's distraction. Multitasking is different, right? Multitasking is advancing several tasks simultaneously. That's multitasking. Advancing several tasks simultaneously. Now, if you look at our computer, which has a lot of different windows open, and you are at one point you're browsing, and at one place you're writing, and one place the YouTube is playing something or whatever, that machine is multitasking. But inside of it, like if you look at the microprocessor, if you understand the idea of microprocessors and operating systems and all that, for example, I'm trained in, so I can talk about, inside of it, a processor of the computer is never multitasking. It is only advancing every task a little bit at a time. So to you and me, it looks like it is multitasking, but inside its brain, it is only taking a task at a time. Now, for children, here's an insight that I learned much later in my life. But if you learn to meditate, what your brain does is it lets you multitask much better, because it really processes one task at a time, and it doesn't confuse that task with the next task or the task before. If you do that, then I think you will be a much better multitasker. Now, when I am working on something, let's say, again, I extend the computer's metaphor, right? If I'm working on something, let's say writing a very important note, but at the same time, I'm also listening to music, and I'm also browsing some news and all that on the side, and I get distracted from writing that note, that distraction is not computer's problem, nor is it a multitasking problem. It's just you are getting distracted. That's all. So I think distraction is a choice. Multitasking is a capability one can develop, and meditation to me is the best tool for it.
Great. All right. I think that we've got that answer. Thank you so much, sir. And now I guess we will move on to our student panelists. And I'd like to invite Manaswini. Manaswini?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, hi, Manas.
Can you turn on the video?
Good evening, sir. I'm Manaswini S. Kumar from Sherwood High, Bangalore, studying in grade 10. My question to you, sir, can you provide some insights of the growth and changes happening in the management sector? According to you, how can a student be molded into a better manager? And how can they impart, managerial skill set and motivate themselves to lead the team better?
The basic, so management science has been around for about 80, 90 years in a serious way, This number is important because medicine has been around for 3,000 years, for example. So management science has been around for about 80, 90, 100 years. It came about during the wars because we had to transfer people and machineries all over the world on a scale that we had never had to do it. And there came the whole notion of managing and then managerial science, right? The tools for basic management are available, like business schools teach it, online tutorials teach it. The tools are easy to learn and they are available now. To really sort of perfect them, master them, one would have to then really practice, right? For instance, in schools, how do you learn managerial skill? By participating in clubs, by participating in student groups, teams, etc. That is the place to learn managerial skills. There are many kids now in Atal Tinkering Labs, for example, who have their own companies. So they are learning managerial skills. They're picking it up, right? The one thing about learning management is that you can't really only learn it from textbook. That's what I'm saying. You will have to get out on the ground and work with people to learn it. But once you start doing that, in the first 2-3 years, you would have learned 80% of what is there to learn. I mean, basically, it's not complex.
Got it. So I think Dr. Chintan, along with being innovative, creating something new. So it is very important and pertinent for a person to improve their managerial skills as well. So that whatever they create, they can move it forward in a very, very perfect manner. So Dr. Chintan, I have a last question to you. It's so is innovation something, because when we talk about innovation to children, so one perspective or thought process is innovation is for entrepreneurs. So I don't want to start something of my own. I just want to work in a company. Then why should I think about innovation? So how do you take, or how do you address that? That thought process.
No, that's very important question also. So forget about innovation and entrepreneurship. See, those two are nouns. Innovation and entrepreneurship are nouns.
Okay.
You think about being innovative and being entrepreneurial. Okay, those are not nouns, they are attributes or adjectives. You'd say, well, this person is very entrepreneurial, or this person is very innovative, right? Now, when you think about the adjective, then I think where you apply these skills is your choice. You don't have to start a company or anything like that. See, around me, for example, in any team that you work, you will find that there are some people who are quite innovative. If you give them a problem, they will come up with solutions that are not chewed up solutions or something that you hadn't thought about. They are innovative. They are not trying to create a company, but they have kept the skill of, they've retained their innovativeness, right? Now, entrepreneurial, you see, there are people who are entrepreneurial are everywhere. Like there are teachers who are extremely entrepreneurial. There's a teacher in Atal Tinkering Lab in Jharkhand who has, we gave them 10 lakh rupees to build a lab. I mean, we give up to 20 lakhs, but let's say 10 lakh rupees so far. He brought 78 lakh rupees. He's a teacher from people. He's an entrepreneurial person, right? There are politicians who are entrepreneurial. There are bureaucrats who are entrepreneurial. You will hear about some district magistrate or collector or something who solved a great problem by bringing people together, right? And really putting an interesting model around it and so on. For instance, when COVID, I won't take much time with this, but when COVID, a lot of people reverse migrated to their places like Bihar and Jharkhand and West Bengal and so on, right? There is a district magistrate in West Champaran, Kundan Kumar. Kundan found out that these people who are returning are not actually laborers. They are actually people who are running factories. So he asked government for money and he set up factories for them there. These people have done a business of 700 crores or something like that by now. So here's an entrepreneurial bureaucrat. He's not a business person. But that being able to solve problems by cobbling together resources and and doing more with less for more, that's being entrepreneurial. There's no harm in learning being innovative and entrepreneurial.
Got it. So thank you, Dr. Chintan, for talking a lot about innovation. So I mean, innovation. I mean, you also told like innovation is for all, and innovation has no connection with marks or the performance in academics. And he also talked about what is harnessing or what is stopping people from becoming innovative. And he also ended up with saying like, it is super important that everybody to be innovative, irrespective of you are an entrepreneur or a founder. Everybody in every level of society and in every level of profession need to be entrepreneurial. I believe the words should be enlightening the spirit of entrepreneurship in people. So, sir, I would like to. I'm requesting you to make a concluding remarks for the session so that we will move forward.
Well, thank you very much once again for having me. It's great to meet you all and everybody online. But yeah, this is the new world. You either innovate and be entrepreneurial, or you go by the wayside and let somebody else who is innovative and entrepreneurial to recruit you. That's the world we are in. Choice.
Thank you very much, Dr. Chintan, and especially thank you very much for taking leave from your fabulous workplace in Massachusetts Institute of Technology and spending time for building India as an innovative nation. Thank you very much for spending us more than 30 minutes as you committed before. Thank you very much. So CBSE and Lifeology is organizing this National Guidance Festival, and we were listening to Dr. Chintan Vaishnav from Atal Tinkering Mission, Atal Innovation Mission, the mission director, and he was talking about innovation in detail. Thank you very much on behalf of CBSE and Lifeology Foundation. Thank you very much, Chintan, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. And Deepa, we move to the next session, right?
Definitely, Praveen. So we spoke a lot about skills, and now we are moving on to yet another speaker. Again, Praveen would be introducing the speaker, but I would also like to say that we've got a lot of questions coming in, but we also have a lot of rich speakers coming in as well with a lot of rich information that they're delivering to you. So we may not be able to take all of those questions, obviously, but we'll try our best to accommodate questions towards the end of this session. So let's move on, Praveen. Go ahead. Let's go ahead and launch our next session.
Thank you very much, Shiva. So we are moving to the next session. So today we spoke about 21st century skills, 21st century lifestyle, and also we spoke about innovation. And now we have Dr. Ajaya Kumar with us. So I request Dr. Ajaya Kumar to keep your cam on so that we can introduce you to the students. Ajay? Yes. So Dr. Ajay Kumar is with us. Yeah, Ajay, you are audible. And let me give you a short introduction about Dr. Ajay Kumar. So Dr. Ajay Kumar is a person who is wearing multiple hats. So he works as the chief operating officer. I mean, by profession, he's a cost accountant and a manager. So he works as the chief operating officer of a huge company, Emercom, in Abu Dhabi. And on top of that, he is a TEDx speaker, a passionate author who authored, 3 books already on different topics about entrepreneurship, about arts, and also about parenting. And I also got an opportunity, or a privilege, rather, I would say privilege, to co-author with Ajay on his latest book, Mindful Parenting. And he is an art curator and he's an entrepreneur by himself, a person who is wearing multiple hats. And I would be having a candid conversation with Ajay. Ajay, we will be joining with 4 more children from the people who were asking multiple questions. We just onboarded them into our panel, and they will also be talking to you. And we will be having a very candid, very open conversation about Ajay, a man who is wearing multiple hats. And we will talk about skills. We will talk about passion. We will talk about innovation. And we'll also talk about how a person can hold this much of, hats along with him. So Ajay, it would be great. I have a first question to you, Ajay. So what makes you this motivated to do multiple things?
Yeah, first of all, thank you, Praveen. Thank you, Lifeology and CBSE. I think your introduction created an exceeding expectation impact on the audience. I hope I will be able to deliver accordingly. So coming to your question, I don't want to state this as multitasking. As you said, yeah, I do multiple things. When I do a certain task, I focus completely on that task. I fully focus on that task. Then when I move on to another task, I will not be thinking about the previous one. I would have completed that task and I'll be taking the next one. So multitasking may be a wrong way to say when someone does multiple things. So this is what I wanted to say. When I write something, I focus on writing. When I do my office work, I focus on my office duties. When I am on to cultural activities or organizing cultural events, then that's my passion. So I'll be focusing more on that.
I understand. So I think that is a wonderful advice. That's a wonderful tips for our students, because many times when we get multiple things to do, we just mix it up and get so stressed. And what you are trying to say is you do multiple things, not a problem at all, but when you do something, focus extremely on that and build on that in a continuous manner. Ajay, I have another point. I was going through your career history. You started into the finance career, and now you lead a huge company, $1 billion company in that part of the world. So, what you have done to develop yourself from where you were around 30 years back and where you are now. What's the effort which you did to develop yourself? What do you think?
Yeah. Actually, I'm born in 1970. So, those who were born in 70s, 60s, 80s, and their youth and childhood and youth, they were in the 20th century. By the time we were in our 30s, the Y2K problems and all those big IT companies and telecom companies that started coming up. So we all were, I think we were a confused generation. Many of us who were in the mid age had to quit their jobs. Many of us were confused what to choose, because I did my finance together with my IT. I also did my advanced system management. But at that time, it was a very difficult decision to make, difficult choice to make. I chose finance as a career, but at the same time, I had an IT background. That's it.
Good.
And I think what is more important is not more than the technical knowledge. Someone needs to, someone needs to have a leader, needs to have an inside, deeper understanding of the business. So once you have understanding of your business or understanding of anything what you do, you will not have a problem to succeed. That's one. And coming to my childhood, I'm coming from a village called Perivanam, which has got 1,500 years of history. And the festival in our village is one of the second second after Kumbh Mela in number of in historic period. So the organization and the management of events that happened or that used to happen in my village, and I've seen, I saw and I grow seeing all this festive activities happening in the village, and that itself gave me, I think, an insight about leadership and management. So learning, my cultural enthusiasm comes from my childhood, seeing festivals, seeing Kathakali, seeing other traditional art forms. That made me the person I am today. So I think your childhood and what you mold yourself later in life, that creates a person in you. And coming to author, the more you read, I think the more you get a chance to write something. And I always wanted to write books, but my professional, my career and related activities kept me busy all the time. But COVID was a good time for all of us. We were stuck at home. We had many of our travel meetings happened on Zoom and Microsoft Teams. So we got time to do something that we like. So that made me write what I wanted to write. I think I briefed my answer.
Wonderful. Yes, Ajay. I think the 3 points I want to pick from both of your answers is together as number one. So you could, so even from childhood, you could focus on you were so conscious about the things around yourself. That means where we are, what is happening around ourselves, what is our culture, and you were trying to imbibe everything around yourself positively influencing you in the way which you were growing. That is one point you were saying. That means it is super important that we have to look around ourselves, embed with the culture, embed with the systems of life, the place we live and all. That's one important point too, which you want to share with people. Second, it's it's not that what you know. It's not that what you do, but whatever you do, you try to understand the basic fundamentals of that, which is very important, because many times we step into something even without knowing what is in it. So what you said is you can do multiple things, but get into the details and try to understand the rule of that particular thing. And number three, you were answering to my first question, you can do multiple things, but when you're doing multiple things, but when you're doing one thing, focus exceptionally on that. Wonderful messages. And now, Ajay, I want to take could you another avatar as a parent? See, we are having multiple parents listening to us, and you have published a book on mindful parenting. Of course, I got the privilege to co-author with you. So on mindful parenting, so what would be one or 2 points, or maybe 3 points, which you want to share with parents from your parenting experience? What the 21st century parent should focus on. What do you think?
I think when you like a flower, you just pluck it. When you love a flower, you water it daily. So one who understands this concept, he understands life. This is not by me, this is by Gautam Buddha. So I think parenting also explains the same concept. You need to love your children, not by imposing what you want them to become, or not asking them to fulfill your dreams. You need to nurture them. You need to, the way you water a flower on a daily basis, you need to be with them. You need to mentor them. You need to give them basic lessons. You need to also teach them to look into the surroundings and learn. And if they commit mistakes, they should be coming back to you instead of going to their friends. So if these things you are able to achieve with your children, I think you are a successful parent. And I'm coming from a place, I'm a resident of UAE for the last 25 years, where there are 140 nationalities, you know that. So whenever I used to speak about parenting or as a parent, many of my colleagues, my friends, they will always project it as a problem. They will always come to me, or when we discuss, they say, okay, today my child did not go to school, or he did not get good marks. Being a parent is like it's like a punishment, the way it is projected. But in my opinion, that should be a blessing. So the moment you understand this and you start believing it, you will enjoy the role of a parent. I hope.
Got it, Ajay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you answered it perfectly well. Ajay, I just want to add one more question to that. Diba, yeah. Yeah, Diba, go ahead.
That was a very superb answer and very touching to every parent, because every parent wants to be successful but don't know how. Eternally confused parents. So that's a very good answer.
Yeah, Diba, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Ajay, I have one question just to add on to that. It's like, because many times the complaint by many parents is like, I'm not getting enough time to focus on my kids because I have my work, I have other things to do. So I'm not even getting my me time. So I'm not getting enough time to focus on kids. So how do you respond to that particular scenario? And they're not lying, of course. Okay. So how do you respond to that scenario?
I think that's a common problem. It's not just about parenting. Many of us say we don't get time to focus on our passion or reading. So it's always about prioritizing. And many of us keep doing, like before COVID, we always believed a meeting cannot happen unless we meet in person, right?
Correct.
And when COVID took place, everything changed. I mean, we started Zoom meetings, and the business was as usual. So we need to select, we need to choose what we want in life first. Once you are a parent, you are always a parent. You don't have an escape from that, right? So that's one of your priority. So you focus, you prioritize on that. There is no hard and fast rule for that. You need to prioritize. You need to spend certain time with them. When they are children, you need to listen to them. If you don't listen to them when they are 4 or 5, they won't listen to you, or they won't come to you when they are 20, for sure.
Got it, Ajay.
It's all about prioritizing.
Got it. So very, very realistic, touching, and from the heart answer. So Ajay, we have 2 children with us. 2 young adults with us. So Digampari and Harsh. So they have question to you. I think mostly as you as professional from the management domain, they would be having question to you. They have been asking these questions multiple times, and we just onboarded them to the panel. So I think Digampari, you can go ahead with your question first.
Yes, Digampari, you can unmute yourself. Yes.
I'm Digampari Kannan from BGS National Public School in Karnataka. So, sir, you are a professional cost accountant. There are courses for cost accountancy, chartered accountancy, company secretaryship, and such niche ideas. Will these areas be having relevance in future? And is it worth to study for such courses which is having low pass percentage?
That's a very, very common.
The last part of your question. Sorry.
Digampari?
Ajay, Digampari, you can repeat the last part.
The last part of your question.
Is it worth to study for such a course which is having low pass percentage?
Okay, so you mean the success rate, right?
Ajay, the question is 2. It's like, number 1, these kind of careers like CA or cost accountancy or whatever it is, or the company secretaryship, will these career will be having relevance even in future when technology is intervening? So that is one question. Second is like all this kind of professional qualifications are having extreme low pass percentage. So is it worthy enough to prepare for that? Because we are putting a lot of effort and only less people are coming out of that tunnel. So that's what Digampari's second question is. So 2 questions mostly, Ajay. Yeah,
I think I want to answer first. I mean, if you have passion for a profession, if you like becoming a chartered accountant or a cost accountant, or you want finance as your profession, then that should be the first question to address. Maybe you did not tell me that. So I want to rephrase this as, do you really like finance as a profession? If you like finance as a profession, definitely this is worth considering and making the effort, whether it is a chartered accountant or cost and management accountant or ACCA. Any such qualification will give you a minimum guarantee in your career. That's one. When I started my career, like we used to do trial balance and balance sheet. All of this was manual. So those days there was no SAP or Oracle Financials, any of those accounting softwares. There were some softwares, but they were giving the minimum need for an accountant. So when all of this big SAP Oracle Financials came into the market, people started saying that chartered accountants or cost accountants, they will lose relevance. Did it happen? It did not happen. So the course itself got updated. People got updated themselves. They got into more of the, interpreting the analytical reports that these accounting softwares generated. So the profession took a shift like any other profession, but it is really worth taking. And coming to the pass marks, even those institutes keep very high standards. So passing a CA exam or a ZMA exam or a company secretary exam is not an easy task. I mean, you cannot just mug up things and go and write an exam. So you need to have in-depth understanding of the subject that you choose. So if you don't have interest in finance-related subjects, you should not be considering. It is not about, if you have interest and if you are passionate about it, definitely you will pass. Definitely you have to study. So any profession, I would say, before you choose, you need to ask yourself whether this is what I want to do in my life.
Got it. So Ajay, I think both the questions are answered in a very perfect manner. So to sum it up, I believe, so you are trying to say Digambarii, I believe you got the answer very well. If you're super passionate, worth it to give it a try. Second, never going to be obsolete, but you may have to change in future. Depends on the technology is changing. You may have to change your role as a chartered accountant or a cost accountant or as a company secretary. So wonderful answers, Ajay. I think this answers the question on almost every career fields, because almost every career fields, this particular answer can be extrapolated. So we have Harshraj with us. And Digambarii, wonderful question. Thank you very much for that. Great question. Harsh, over to you.
So, hello, sir. I am Harsh Raj, a 12th grade student from GA Inter School, Hajipur, Bihar, India. So, as we are more exposed towards the startup and entrepreneurship world, so I have some question that can you give insights of the growth and changes happening in the management sector, and how can a student molded to be a better manager, and how can he impart managerial skill set and motivates himself to lead team better?
I think, Ajay, I will just add one more point to that. It's like, so we are having students joining from around the world, from the Indian schools. So mostly from 8th grade to 12th grade. Their parents are also in, okay. And we spoke about different careers. We spoke about entrepreneurship. We spoke about innovation and all. So if I just take Harshraj's question and just add on top of that a point, it's like, for a student who is in 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 kind of grades. So how exactly, even from that younger age, they can develop themselves as global managers in future? So what do you think, Ajay, on that?
Okay. I think management or a manager or a leader, that starts from home. That can happen in your school, your surroundings, with your teammates. If you see your team or your group of friends, you will see someone, assuming the responsibility of a leader or a manager or someone who leads a team, right? Or maybe a team of 10 members, maybe one person has an edge and everyone agrees to him, but nobody will be questioning. If at all it is questioned, this person has a solution for it. So it is not coming, some people may be a natural leader, but you can also have you can also get by reading or by observing the surroundings, observing the society, you can also acquire wisdom. Once you have wisdom, you can, I mean, your path to leadership becomes much more easier. So say, for example, I mean, for me, as I said, I told you earlier, I was born in a village where there used to be a big cultural festival called Puram. This is a 1,500 years old festival. And there was no management 1,500 years old back. And there was no leadership, right? But there were people who did this. There was no event management companies during that time. Even today, those functions are not based on an event management company, or there are no companies that perform these things. But how do they manage? They manage through rituals. So they know at a particular point in time, this ritual should take place. So this is known to everybody, and someone has taken the leadership. So if you really, I mean, not just you, any child who is listening to this or parent, they should encourage their children, or the children themselves should be self-motivated to involve in the society. You go into the society, you spend some time. I know you are all busy with the studies, academic pressure, peer pressure, but at the same time, spend say 30 minutes of your time weekly for a community activity or a social cause or a cultural activity, which is of interest to you. Even as sports, if you like playing, even for a sports activity. So develop those things. You see how others are conducting it. Observe, and also there are a lot of TED talks, YouTube talks of great leaders. You can listen to them, understand things. So just understand one thing: a leader is not someone who is good at everything. He is someone who gets people who are good at different things and put them in a team. So you don't have to know everything to become a leader. And your leadership skills, your management skills should start from your childhood, from your home.
Got it.
I answered you.
I mean, you explained it extremely well, Ajay. Ajay, Harsh, thank you. Yeah, Harsh, go ahead.
So also I came across to know that you are a very passionate on reading and you are an author too. So can you specify some good books for students who like to be better managers in near future?
Okay. Actually, maybe Praveen will share with you my LinkedIn profile. I have recommended 10 books that one should read in lifetime. It is not just about management books. My book about lessons from 21 films for the 21st century entrepreneurs. This book connects management with movies. What you learn from world movies. So you can actually learn not just from management books. It's good that you have the taste to read management books. You can read a fiction. You can read whatever comes to you. I mean, or whatever is of interest to you. Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah. Thank you so much. So Harsh, I thought that answered your question and he answered it so interestingly. It's not a lot of people say you should read Peter Drucker and you should read that, but then here Dr. Ajay Kumar says go ahead and watch movies. Go ahead, read fiction. It's about what you absorb from it and how you look at it. And that's such an interesting perspective. Thank you so much. Thank you, Harsh, for the question. And I really hope you turn out to be a really effective entrepreneur. All right. Thank you so much. All right. So those were our two panelists. Praveen, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. So Deepa, I have been seeing one question coming up in the chat very, very repeatedly. Yeah. It's like, Ajay, that question was there even during Chintan was speaking. So Ajay, I want to take that question to you. How exactly? Because I think the sum and substance of the question is this, okay? So we all want to grow, we all want to develop, our 21st century skills, emotional intelligence, we want to plan our future, career, everything, but always we procrastinate. We don't want to do this today. Everything we want to start from tomorrow. So the question is like, how exactly we can avoid or we can overcome procrastination. So any tips? I'm not expecting a very technical tip, but what you do in your life to avoid procrastination? I mean, to do something today. What do you think, Ajay, on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think like everyone, if you want to do something today, don't don't wait. Just start. Start something today. If you want to do something today, you want to read something, get the book. Today everything is on the tip. You can get on internet all information. Everything you can get whenever you want. Even you want to order something, you can go to Amazon and order, right? So you have all the tools that can help you, and all these tools can also destroy you if you go to going to your laptop and spending time on Facebook and Insta. That's not going to take you anywhere. At the same time, if you read a book or go to some motivational speech or some learning lessons, the same internet can give you knowledge. So it's all about using, and it's all about how you prioritize. It's all about consistency. If you are committed and consistent, I'm sure you will succeed in life, and society or the people around you will start calling you lucky man or lucky lady. That's it.
Got it. Thank you very much, Ajay. I think for the last around 30 minutes, you spoke a lot about so your personal journey, your career journey, how could you develop yourself, and the importance of looking around yourself, the importance of getting embedded with the culture which you live, getting embedded with the society you live, and how important it is to learn from other areas, like from movies, from books and all, and also about the art of multitasking is not only about doing a lot of things together, but to focus on one thing when you do that, and then change your focus to the next thing. And also you were talking about when the world is moving on, the technology will come in, the careers will get changed, but we need to, once we change ourselves or we change our roles, we will still continue to be relevant in this world. And you were also answering to the questions like how important is to, if you're passionate about something, you can continuously do that. You don't need to lose your heart or be double-minded about should I pursue it or not. And you were also talking to parents about once you're a parent, you're always going to be a parent. So you have to prioritize that there is no other way, and there is no hard and fast rule to get connected with your children. Spend time with them, listen to them. And this is how I sum up your speech. It's it was fabulous and fantastic, which is touching parents and children together with simple, very, very simple analogies straight from the bottom of your heart. Ajay, I want to listen to your concluding remarks very quickly. And I understand there is one question which is quickly coming up. It's about which business can start during the younger age and how to prepare for chartered accountancy continuously. I will take that question. But Ajay, before that, your concluding remarks, please.
Yeah, I would like to say a simple thing. Never blame anyone. I think that's something that all of us, we all blame, but we should never blame anyone in life. Actually, you have something to learn from each and every person. Good people can bring you happiness. Bad people can bring you experience. Worst people in your life can give you lessons, and the best ones can give you good memories. So never blame anyone in life, or never blame your parents, never blame your teachers. If there is a mistake, assume that mistake. And I think it's a start of a good life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ajay. Thank you on behalf of Central Board of Secondary Education and Lifeology Foundation for you to spend 35 minutes with us, and enlightening children and parents with your wonderful thought. Thank you very much. Deepa, thank you, Ajay. So before we conclude, thank you, Ajay. So before we conclude, it's two questions. Number one, so how exactly guidance for chartered accountancy? So let me tell you. So if you are, because this question I have been seeing for the last 2 hours, one person is continuously answering when asking the question. So I appreciate your persistence. I appreciate your your passion towards that. So let me take it in this way. Number one, chartered accountancy is an extremely very, very, very important career which you can pursue. Number one. Number two, it's a career which you can pursue if you have a sheer love towards numbers. Number two. Number three, chartered accountancy is also a career which you can pursue. You are also ready to work with technology, because that is an evolving field, whereas number is getting wedded with technology in a very deeply rooted manner. And number four, that is one career which demands a lot of time and effort from you. So if you want to go for a very cool-minded person doing a 9 to 5 work, so don't get into that, because that is something which is demanding too much of time and effort from you. And number 5, when exactly you should start preparing, as the company asked before. So chartered accountancy is one which many people try to get and very less people come out of the pipe. So it is a career which demands too much of preparation. So I would strongly recommend you start prepare as early as possible, whichever class you are. You are in 8, start prepare now. 9, start prepare now. 11, start prepare now. 12, start prepare now. Because it is not, there is no early age to prepare. So in whichever grade you are, start preparation from now itself. And number 6, how to prepare. So you can go to the chartered accountancy, the CA institutes, or you get attached to any other institute in your locality, which is helping you to guiding you to prepare for chartered accountancy and understand about the nuances of accounting, understand about the nuances of numbers, understand about the nuances of how exactly the thing is going on, and go through multiple question papers, repeated things, and try to prepare yourself for that. And this is one career which you can pursue even immediately after your 10+2. That means not necessary that you should complete your undergraduation. So once you complete your 10+2, you can start attempting for this examination. Keep in mind, this is not a course. This is a professional qualification you should achieve. So after your 10+2, either you can choose to do an undergraduation in commerce or mathematics or statistics, whichever field you want to get into. That course may be a full-time course or a part-time course. Even if you're taking a part-time parallel education, you can invest your full time into preparing for chartered accountancy and give an exam. There are 2 levels of that, and once you get into that, you will get into those details as well. But you need to invest full time for that. So ideally, you can do a part-time undergraduation degree course, and full time you can invest for chartered accountancy preparation. And one more thing, the 7th point I want to add is, like, get attached to yourself with a company even today itself. It may be your dad's company, mom's company, dad or mom's friend's company, or your friend's mom's or dad's company, or however small or big. So get attached to a company today itself. Do voluntary activities, which Ajay was mentioning very well. Like, there is no easy way to, or textbook way to, prepare for management. It is something like do it. Similar like that, do accounting for companies. At least, even if you're not getting an opportunity for that, do accounting in a professional way for your house. So do you have a home accounting system? Do you have a domestic accounting system for your house? So start doing it and learn from YouTube and free videos as well. That is how you have to prepare yourself. Immediately after you are 12, start preparing for giving exams. And I'm pretty sure if you are putting hard effort, hard work, you will surely go through that. That's my point on chartered accountancy. So the second point asked is about which is the good business to start. So I would say there is no good or bad business to start. So it totally depends on where do you live, number 1. So what are your skills? Number 3, so what is your interest? And try to identify the problem around the places. It may be a local problem, it may be a global problem, but try to identify the problem around yourself and then try to develop a solution for that. But when you're developing a solution for that, ensure these 3 things are there. Number 1, the problem you are identifying to solve should be worthy to be solved. How exactly it is worthy to be solved? Once you solve the problem, that should be benefiting for millions of people. So then it's a problem which is worthy to be solved. So identify a problem which is worthy to be solved. Number 1, that's the first point. The second point, if you want to start a business, ensure that the starting a business is too much demanding. So ensure that you are ready to stretch your days and ready to spend time, mind, soul, and heart on that. That is number 2. And number 3, ensure that you are ready to fail also. Because small or large, not necessary that your business should be super successful very quickly. So don't get disappointed even if you fail. The grit is one quality which you should possess when you are doing a business. And what is grit? Grit is something which is a quality inside yourself to do something again and again and again, even if you are failing. So if you're identifying a problem, ready to jump into that, however small or big the business you are going to build, ensure that you are ready to stick on to that even if you're continuously failing for 10 years. So then you can think that you are good to be an entrepreneur. So then venture into that. This is how I want to answer that question. So Ajay, any remarks you want to make on these two questions from your side? Any comments you want to make on this?
Yeah, I think about chartered accountancy, you explained it better than me. I don't think I would have explained the same way. So very well explained. And about business, I think again, a good business should have a good idea in place. So first, you should have a good idea, and that's the starting point. And good idea should get converted to a good product. Once you have these two, I think a good business will follow.
Got it. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Ajay. And I believe we have taken much of the questions. So there's one question which is coming repeatedly: how to prepare for IIT exams. I'm reserving that question for 24 Saturday, because 24 Saturday in the first half, we are going to have an exclusive session on how to prepare for technology careers, and we will take that question there. Stay tuned. So stay tuned with us, because tomorrow we are going to have an exceptional session on mindset. We will be having 4 speakers. We will be having the Asia Pacific head of Intel. We will be having the group, the chairman and CEO of the Times Group, which owns Times of India, Times Now, Economic Times, Mirror Now. So all these channels, MD and chairman is going to come. And we will also be having 2 educators discussing with ourselves about the future mindset. So tomorrow, if we discussed about innovation, 21st century skills, entrepreneurship and management skills today, tomorrow we will be discussing about, mindset. And on Friday, we are going to be discussing about scholarships, how you can prepare yourself for scholarship, and how to prepare a world-class portfolio by putting all the information you could receive across all the sessions. So stay tuned with us. And Saturday is going to be an exclusive. We will be having exclusive sessions on almost every careers. So go to lifeology.com/NGF, LIFOLOGY, lifeology.com/NGF, N for national, G for guidance, F for festival. And you will get the calendar there. You will get the schedule there. And stay tuned and attend our sessions. Over to you, Deepa, for your closing remarks.
Praveen, and thank you, Dr. Jay Kumar, once again. So yes, as Praveen rightfully summed up, I was just about to say that tomorrow we've got big names coming in from Intel, from Times Group, the chairman of Times Group. We've got a much awaited session coming up, which is of course from NASA, Dr. Jennifer Weissman. So let's look forward to that as well. And on Friday, about how to build your own portfolio. So a lot of things coming up, guys. And Praveen, there was one question as to, are we all going to get certificates at the end of the program? I said yes. And there is also questions coming up. Okay, so how is it going to be? Like, if I'm only registered, will I get? If I listen to it for half time and then watch the recorded, will I get? And all of that. Do you want to drop a word on that?
Absolutely, Deba. It's like, we get the right data regarding regarding the people who registered and also who was watching the program. So whoever registered for the program and they're coming to this program may not be for full time, but at least for some time will be getting qualified for certificates. So that means, to make it very precise, whoever asked the question will surely get the certificate, because the person is registered for the program and on this program now. So that person is anyway going to get certificate. So whoever is watching us now through the YouTube and through the dedicated platform will surely be getting the certificate. Certificate. That's how I want to take that question.
Amazing. I'm sure you're happy. I'm sorry I didn't get your name, but I'm sure you're happy. And all of you guys are happy. And that's what we want. We want all of us to be happy and excited and pepped up for not just for today, not for tomorrow, but for your future, because that's why we're all here, right? So all the best. We're already taking a lot of your time, so not taking any more of your time. Go ahead, relax, have a good night, and come back tomorrow, because we've got big sessions coming up, not just tomorrow, for the next 3 days. All right. So I'll see you tomorrow. Till then, bye. Take care, all of you. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night. Good night, all. Bye-bye.